guide to that you be able to like watch all the episodes in order from like the first to last.
Guide to One Piece.
Yeah, essentially. But it was.
So it's 400 to 500 over here, completely filler.
Oh yeah.
We're back. Another episode of the podcast.
Skip the Jar Jar episode. Yes, hello everybody.
Honestly, though, I don't really, like which Jar Jar episode because there's multiple Jar Jar episodes.
There are.
Which is kind of concerning.
They're not, and like, well, they're not terrible, but they're not like amazing.
No, I think the best one out of all of them was the blue gas one. The blue virus.
Oh, was that a Jar Jar episode though?
That was technically a Jar Jar episode because it's like he was like one of the main factors inside that like thing because it was like they went to like the Greedo planet.
That's unfortunate to think about because I actually like that one a lot too. I remember the one with Mace Windu and him. Like that was
funny. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
I do think if you like straight Jar Jar, it's kind of trash. But like if you include it with other people, it's fine.
Yeah. But hello everybody. Yes, welcome back.
Mushy mushy. All right, another podcast. It's been a week actually. We're pretty good with posting podcasts. I'll say this with our content schedule being what it is. It's been hard with schoolwork to do everything, as well as like find internships and other stuff. But like, that's what we have a studio for, is to have this sort of like make something that's worth portfolio watching and like build our portfolios together.
Yes,
because it's one of those things where it's like, if you try to do everything at yourself, especially in animation, you're kind of fucked. Same with film.
Yeah.
So like you need people to help back you up.
That's having trouble right now with animation class. Actually, is just we're trying to do our independent films and like doing everything ourselves with no other connections because of COVID is really hard.
I feel like that's kind of the trick though. It's like, obviously there's some sort of hidden like grading scale for like teamwork, and it's like, oh, depending on how many students you get, like this is like what your grade is, because it'll show you that you have good leadership and good connection skills.
It's really just like oh my god, I've got my zipper on my pants. Never mind. Anyway, scratch that. But yeah, no, it's, I don't know if there's like a hidden like thing that's like, oh, did he ask these 3 people to help him out? If not, then bonus points. I mean, like,
bonus points to Gryffindor.
That's the idea. Is like, it's like they want you to reach out to other people and kind of communicate, which is smart, and I think that's a very good thing to learn. But it's just at the same time, it's like, man, dude, like I'm only good at really like basic character animation and storyboarding. So if we could like focus on that, and that's what I try to do first. Like I know at the beginning of the production, I'm like really good at it. But then, like, towards the end of the production, when I tried to color and fucking do all the lighting and shit, I'm like, oh, fucking vey.
So speaking of, like, the sort of, like, the pre-production, like, storyboards and stuff, I had a chance to speak with a good fellow Twitter person called Blue. And he has a studio called Studio Tonton. I'd send you a text about this.
Yeah.
And, like, he's doing, like, the fan animation stuff with a bunch of people. And his goal is to teach foreigners the anime industry standard.
Oh, cool.
So he's doing that. A bunch of like other foreign animators have kind of sort of like backed him inside this kind of endeavor. So like people like Zayd, who's done like work on the Sleeping Princess inside the Demon Castle, which we both enjoyed. He sort of like kind of like gave this kind of a backing seal of approval, like, yeah, you definitely try to do this, because it's one of those things where it's like you want to have, because like the way he explained it to me, right, is that when you're contacted by a producer, right, who recruits you to be an animator, sometimes they don't give you much to work off with, especially with like the language barrier. They'll kind of expect you to just do the work. So like he's trying to mitigate that factor, trying to set up a community where it's like the guy who created Code Lyoko, you know that one?
Yeah.
He currently works on a bunch of stuff in Japan. He worked on Space Dandy. He worked on I think Pop Team Epic.
Oh wow, shit.
So like he's doing like a lot of the 3D work over there, but like his main goal was to like, kind of establish a sort of French animator community over there, and it worked. It helped out immensely for like foreigners coming in who actually did stuff like that. So yeah,
we should watch. I haven't watched it yet, but the Trash Taste podcast
with Ken Arto.
I have to watch that.
It's pretty good. It's one of those things where it's like a very narrow angle where he's coming from, because a lot of things he had was kind of like set up for him, just because like he's half Japanese, you know.
Oh, okay.
He was staying at his like grandparents' house when he was doing like his like internships and stuff, so he didn't really worry about like housing or money. But yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, I do agree, like they need to set like some sort of community to like kind of sustain with all of them, kind of like pull resources together, maybe establish like a low cost housing for them, because a lot of times like animators are probably going to the studio a majority of the time, spend their time all like pretty much from like 6 a.m. to like 12 at night, go home, sleep, and then come back. A lot of people just actually sleep at the studio, which is like one of those things where it's like, okay, if we're gonna like, especially for us though, like if we're gonna start this in, as like a physical like business, and we want to get a studio, we should like factor out like, okay, here's like a little sleep room. You go take a nap for like half hour and come back to work.
Yeah, like have a designated like sleep area for people.
Yeah.
Bunk beds. Hey.
That's what they do at the firehouse. Like the firehouse. You ever see the movie King of Staten Island?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's okay. So it's like
look depressing.
It was pretty depressing, but it's very kind of heartfelt at the end.
Okay.
But like a lot of the times, like there's like this like little thing where it's like the bedroom, right? It has like all the beds. It's like the Ghostbusters thing where it's like they have the beds lined up against the wall.
You can do that.
Yeah, we could do that or something like that and be like, yep, here's like the designated sleep room. This is like one small office over here that has like 2 to 3 beds and like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we had like a small enough, if we had like a group that wasn't too big, we could have personal rooms where it's just like, hey, if you feel tired or anything,
we might as well just kind of buy a house in Stanford and then just like set that up as an office, build a set or something.
Have everyone have a set amount of hours they have to work, and then just be like, hey.
Well, that's the thing too. We're just like, I really do think like salary is probably the way to go. Where if you put enough hours in, you should get the minimum pay to like kind of survive. That's like one of those things where it's like, okay, I think if you like. Probably some shots you'll probably be working on could take a couple minutes, an hour, but like some shots may take you multiple hours just because of the complexity.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like, yeah, if we ever get more employees that like are doing that, we'll try to pay them salary, but then be a low salary, but then any extra hour you work, you get this plus more, sort of deal.
Do you ever think we could do it like via online though? Or
Yeah. We'll definitely, we'll have like where we live though. We'll probably be living together after college anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
which is probably the best
yeah.
deal at the end of the day is like if you're going to be in the New York area, you might as well live in Stanford because New York's like mad expensive and you get a lot more for your buck in Stanford than you would get in New York. So we could probably set something up there and then work both.
Are you planning on going back? Wait, so for stores, what's your
so they said they want to do full housing.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'll humor you. And I'll sign up for the housing, but as soon as I get the information, like, oh, you can do hybrid online for the first semester, then I'm dropping at housing. I'm like, I'm not going to spend money for one semester, and then I'll just go back to spring, because, like, I think by the time, we will all be vaccinated somewhat, especially for, like, student workers who work at restaurants and, like, grocery stores, they'll get vaccinated, and that's probably going to be the large amount of, like, the people who actually need it, the lower class people, lower class income.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I thought was interesting, but
so basically to inform everybody, we're Davis, me, Davis, and my friend Ben from college are trying to work out apartment issues during this time of COVID and trash. But right now we're deciding on doing like whether we want to do an apartment in the city or in Stanford, which is a town or a city right by us. Now we have a bit of an issue right now because like my friend Ben wants to do it in the city, Davis wants to do it in Stanford.
Well, that's the thing. Like if I'm not going to be inside here next year, then you guys can go to the city. But I will say this: you'll probably get more bang for your buck and more space if you do Stanford than you do New York. You probably get a lot more amenities too. You get the nice gym and stuff.
I think what Ben and I are thinking right now is like we'll have. Just for like this year, I think we'll like spend time in the city, and then once the year's over, we'll go do something in Stanford. I think that would probably be the smart play, because right now I think Ben's just wanting to
get out of Texas.
Yeah, he wants to get out of Texas for a while, and he doesn't want to be an RA anymore because he has previously an RA. I guess he just had a bad experience.
Oh, being an RA is fucking shit. Even though you get like a stipend and like free housing and shit, it's not worth it for the amount of shit you have to deal with.
Because like.
Because I was always friends with my RAs too. I go to fucking a public school, so it's just one of those things where it's like, if you think private school might be bad, public school is fucking way worse.
Because everyone doesn't give a shit.
Exactly. It's one of those things where it's like they'll get a call at the middle of the night and be like, can you come help me with this little thing like inside the. And it's like they have to make rounds too, which is like I don't want to do that either. It's just like 12 o'clock, like I want to sleep.
Yeah, it's such a pain because you have to take care of everybody. And also, it's I went to one of these meetings, or I went to like the introductory meeting for being an RA because I was curious.
yeah, you're like, oh, you get free housing, I might as well try.
But I'm like, it's not worth it.
No, it's not.
It really is not. No offense to anyone who is an RA, but it's like you have to put up so much work just for that. I'm like,
exactly. It's just it's like I applaud these people, but like Christ, it's like you literally have to have no life to sort of be doing it.
And
like,
plus, on top of the studies that you're already doing,
exactly.
Like,
you might as well be. You have to be like a senior with nothing else to do, better else to do than be an RA. You know,
and even then, it's like I would rather do something else.
yeah, because my friend was an RA last year, and like we only could go over to like his place, even though it's a single, right? It's kind of small.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't really want to be in there to play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So
Right.
like it was like you'd be kind of like, oh guys, I have to go make rounds. I'm like, ah, come on, dude. It's like,
same with Ben. It was just like it was such a small space that he like it was like this is great. Like it's awesome. You have
it's
your
cool
own.
you have a single, but like then you kind of miss out like on half of like all the entire like
Yeah.
fact of college.
Exactly. Just walking in and your roommate jerking off. It's like you missed that. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. He actually did have a roommate though that I'm not going to talk
Chronic
to.
masturbator.
No. But he had a girlfriend, and I think it was like by accident. Like I guess like there was a Discord call going on or something like that, and
Oh, they're
like,
doing the phone sex.
no.
Discord phone sex. Was his roommate a Discord mod?
He was
gross.
He was playing online with his friend. He told me, and he left for a bit to do something, I think, but he left the Discord call open, and his friend was there.
Himself?
Yeah, and then I guess his roommate or his girlfriend walked in, and they were doing something. And it's like at one point, he was like, "Oh," there's like the girl's like, "Oh, slap me harder," and then you just hear. And then she starts crying, and then he's like, I'm sorry. And I was just like, and he told me this, I'm like, oh fuck, dude, seriously?
Christ.
Oh no. But it was like, oh Jesus.
Oh, speaking of, Smash their Nintendo Direct happened the other day.
Yeah, you got your girls.
I got my girls Pyra and Mithra inside Smash. Let's go.
To clarify like how I felt about it, I was like, okay, that's great. You know, I'm not personally like super invested in these characters, but I'm glad people enjoy them all the same. You know, but at the same time, I'm like, they look cool. I'm excited.
It's one of those things where it's just like anime sword waifu, but it's just like such a unique gameplay that I really don't think that anyone would really care.
Yeah, their stance character, which is cool. That they could just like switch it up, and like Pyra seems to be the heavy hitter, while Mithra seems to be Mithra. Sorry. Yeah. But Mithra seems to be like the fast, speedy kind of character. Which is cool.
I don't know. I agree. I guess I agree with that. We should play through 2. 2 is a fun game.
I'd love to. I never experienced Xenoblade in general, so it'd be really nice.
Definitely. We'll start with 2, and then we'll
just go through all the JRPGs.
Yeah, we'll just play all the JRPGs on the channel. I still have to fucking put out the Persona one. I'm just gonna clip everything out in like 15 minutes or 10 minutes and like put it up online. I'm like.
Just Game Grumps it, you know.
Yeah, Game Grumps it. It's one of those things where it's just like I don't have the time necessarily to edit a lot of these things. I might offload it onto Alex and like being like, "Hey, just edit these for us, will ya? You could do it. You could do it on your stream or whatever. Just edit for us and then send it back to me, and then we'll."
Our intro should be, "Hey, I'm white. I'm not so white." and we're Tanooki. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I think our current intro is good for film and like animation, but I think we should do something for gaming. But it's just kind of like I don't have the time to sit down and do that right now.
Draw ourselves, yeah, no, that'd be kind of a pain. Well, I mean, like we could just do it like a simple, Tanooki Gaming. I could come up with a logo for Tanooki Gaming if you like.
Yeah, I can send you the color palette for the logo and stuff. So
yeah,
and you just like.
I'll think of something.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna do another session, yeah.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. We haven't watched anything like in shit taste recently. Because like the last thing I showed you that was like really in shit taste was the Idol Survival one, which was like the shitty 3D one, and we were both like kind of cringy at the fact like the 3D is not the worst. Like facial expressions are pretty good, but like at some points they just have these dead fish stares, so they just look at you really eerily, and that's one of the things where I don't like. And it's one of those things where we're also relying like on a game engine to like do hair simulation. So like one thing will completely get caught on the shoulder and then just completely swing in front of her, and I'm like, ugh.
Physics aren't there quite yet.
Yeah.
But going back to Smash real quick, so we have 2 more fighters, yeah? We have 2 more to go?
Yeah, because technically, yeah, I guess. Because we have... Min was the first one, right?
Yeah, Min was the first. Steve was the second.
Steve was second.
Sephiroth was third.
And then you have Pyra and Mithra, and then you have one more, because it's 5, I think, right?
6.
It's 6?
Yeah, it's 6.
Okay,
yeah.
so we have 2 more then. All right. That's not bad though. Six DLC fighters.
Yeah,
around
on top
two.
of the other 5. How do you think this stacks up compared to last season Fighters Pass or whatever the hell it was called?
I don't know. I kind of think like both of them are kind of meh. I do think Plant was probably the best one for like a pre-order thing.
Piranha. Jesus. Such a stupid pick. Why did they choose a Piranha Plant?
Because like, is it really? Well, first of all, PD Piranha, right? It's technically in Subspace Emissary, and that's why I like about his Final Smash. It calls back to that. But if you haven't played fucking Brawl, then you wouldn't fucking know what it is.
They could have just done like, I don't know, it was a crazy idea, but like Waluigi,
No.
or anybody else. You know what? I want my friend Boomerang Bro to be in the game. That'd be nice.
I think he's an assist trophy, or he has an item. That's an item.
Oh, is he? Oh shit.
The Boomerang is an item. That's right.
Yeah. There was the Boomerang Bro, the Hammer Bro, and the Fire Bro, if I recall. But
I think there's only Hammer. No, Hammer Bro's a assist trophy, and then Boomerang is the item.
yeah, and then you have the Fire Flower, which
Which is already basic.
the reason I know this is because I played Mario Super Sluggers a lot, and those 3 characters I'd always pick every single time for some reason.
But Mario Golf though.
Oh, yeah.
We golf, but with Mario characters.
I was like, out of everything, everyone was talking about, oh man, this looks so cool, all these JRPGs. I'm like, Mario Golf, though.
I actually
Mario
might
Golf.
get that just because like it does the same like Wii motion control where it's like you do like the little Joy-Con thing.
Yeah.
So like I might get that just for the shits and giggles and see how it plays. But it's just one of those things where just like I don't want to spend any money on games, especially with like Monster Hunter Rise coming out with the new Pro controller, and then Legend of Zelda with the new Joy-Cons. I'm gonna get the Joy-Cons, and I'm not gonna play with them. I'm gonna be storing them inside like a little frame, like a little case up there, and I'm gonna just frame them.
Those are so cool. I'm definitely getting the Pro controller for Monster Hunter Rise, so that shit's gonna be great.
I have like 2 special edition Pro controllers. I have the Pyramithra one, and then I have my Splatoon one, which I've been playing a lot recently. I've been playing a lot of Splatoon because the Splatoon 3 got announced, and I'm just like, I'll go back to it and grind a bit more. I'm like, damn, I'm like kind of topping like games like constantly with the fucking like rollers. I'm just like, damn, I'm really good at this game. Why haven't they made a competitive Splatoon?
I thought they did. Didn't they not? Oh.
At least college-wise, because like Overwatch and that kind of shit, it's like, oh, you can do this college-wise, but we're not competitive Splatoon. It's so much fun. They're quick, easy games. 3 minutes each. You play best of 3, and then that's it. It's like it's probably the fast and easy game that you can play. It's like, why not play it?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it'd be a good digestible thing. I used to play Overwatch a lot, so I mean, but I never was that. Once again, I'm happy that it's coming out, and I'm glad that people who like it.
You're a big FPS person, though.
But yeah, I'm not really much of a PvP kind of guy. Like,
you're more of a PvE wave kind of thing.
Like, WoW or
I think you
Monster
enjoy.
Hunter
I think you should enjoy Splatoon because Splatoon is one of those things where it's like there's so much different game modes you can play. Where it's like they have like a zombie hordes mode with Salmon Run, and it's like you don't have to play ranked. You just play online and then school kids.
I mean, it's not to say like I don't like versing against other people at times. Like I do. Like there's like if Smash is up, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna be like, I'm totally gonna play it because it's fun. But it's like eventually at some point it's like it becomes like I get too competitive or I just like
you just don't feel the need
I start losing fun because then I'm like, okay, I'm not accomplishing as much.
Well, because like I think for me Splatoon is one of those things where it's like I'm not really focused on the competitive part. I'm focused more on like the kind of paint the town blue or red,
Yeah.
Where I'm just like kind of going around with my fucking like paint roller, just like I like this color. I'm gonna paint as much as I can.
Yeah. It's there's a fun mechanic. I love the ink mechanic. It's so cool and it's so diverse. It really just makes the game stand out comparative to Call of Duty.
We should play Splatoon. I think doing a run of Splatoon would be fun.
That'd be fun. I'd be totally down for that. Sitting on the okay. Well, I've realized now I'm sitting on the wire.
It's fine.
Okay.
Your shit's coming through.
Okay, cool.
You see the waveform? Come on, look at this TV. I had it all warmed up before you came over. Did I ever explain that where the TV that I have in my room is okay, but like it takes like a good like 30 minutes to warm up, but that's probably the time to take over because like your 15 minutes is like half hour.
Yeah, it kind of not to deny it. Yeah, it is. Mainly because I'm like before I like about like an hour before I'm like, did I do my run yet? Fuck, I didn't. And then, like, of course, like it takes me 30 minutes to do that. Yeah. Get ready, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't have my lunch either. So
I gotta start running again. I'm getting on the pounds. I'm currently at 180. Was at 175.
Do you guys have a treadmill? Because that's like
No,
the
I
best
usually go
ever.
because I usually go around the neighborhood from our walks, because I'll go up this hill around here and then go down the large hill, usually down there near Molly's, and then I'll come back up the opposite way around to like do my whole entire burnout. But I usually do that every other day. In the summer. I just don't like the winter because it's so cold. I think that's why.
And also because the roads are so like the sidewalks are covered in ice. And
we don't have sidewalks where I live, but like it's one of those things where it's like the roads are icy and I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and people can hit you out of nowhere. It's
exactly.
Like,
it's just like I don't want to deal with the shenanigans, so I'm not going to go out from our walk.
I never found running in the city to be enjoyable, mainly because there's so much
Too many people on the street.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to so much around you, and the bikers will just hit you.
You got to go to Central Park or something to do like your run or whatever.
And even then, you'll just step in horse shit, and then it's like, okay, well.
I don't understand why they would fucking do that. Like, why bother actually having like horse-drawn carriages?
Because people like that. It's romantic in some fashion, and people like horses in general because it adds a nicer it adds a nature feel to the thing. But
New York is such a disgusting city at sometimes.
It is, but they're making it better. They just they just remade a old train station. I forget the name of it. I have to look it up real fast. But
I think my problem with New York is that it's just such old architecture that it doesn't blend well anymore with some of the newer stuff.
Yeah, it's there's certain you'll get buildings like that had the Art Deco style, like the Empire State Building,
yeah, exactly,
Chrysler Building, and like that really is cool. But then you'll have the new stuff like the Freedom Tower, which looks great, but it doesn't fit. And it's just like a weird amalgamation.
It does stand up above the rest, but it just doesn't fit well with like the modern the modern and like the Art Deco styles.
And you get the weird honeycombs like building. I forget the name of it.
Oh, like I know what you're talking about. The one that's multiple levels and you just walk up.
Yeah. Hold on. Right now, I'm just looking up the new train station because it looked cool. Like my parents showed me pictures.
I think that'd be an interesting building thing where it's like, oh, you walk outside to get up instead of using like basic elevators and stuff. Or you have an elevator, but like it'd be faster to walk up. You know, have each floor do that. Like you walk up 2 flights and like, oh, that's the next floor. And like if you only work on the first floor, you don't have to deal with an elevator anyway. You just walk outside, walk up to your door, and unlock it.
It would help a lot.
Yeah.
Penn Station. That's it. Penn Station.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah. After nearly 30 years, New York's Penn Station has a beautiful new train hall, and that's what it looks like.
That's pretty good. It's pretty modern.
Yeah, it looks good.
I think it's one of those things where it's just like the outside could look a bit better, but then you should just completely gut and renovate the inside. Is one of my big pet peeves. Is like if the style doesn't match the outside, then it's like why bother renovating the outside, or why bother renovating at all if you're not going to do the entire building?
You spruce it up, make it look clean, make
exactly.
it look nice.
It's like one of those things where like 2008, like New York, like Grand Central stopped people from smoking indoors. Mm-hmm. It's one of those days where it's just like, yeah, it's health hazard for cancer and shit, but it's just like much better.
My parents always talk about how like Grand Central was a shithole because like homeless people and junkies and stuff would be like
Spare
everywhere.
Change. Yeah, everywhere. Change.
And it was like it was really dirty and disgusting. But now it's like a really beautiful place. Which
gentrification.
Yeah, it's like whoa, look at this. But I also heard the High Line is getting extended, which is cool.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I enjoy the High Line. High Line's fun.
That's a cool idea, and I'm really
excited. That runs from
down
Chelsea up to I think Midtown or
I forget what exactly. Oh, let me look that up.
Because I remember you get on the Chelsea Market. You could get on at the Chelsea Market, and then you walk upwards up the east side, right? Or is it west side?
High Line extension. Let me look that up. New York announces High Line extension to meet Penn Station.
Oh, that's neat. So you'd be walking from Chelsea. If you walk from Chelsea up to Penn Station, that's not bad.
I don't know how long that is specifically, but it's a pretty ways. Yeah.
If you don't know, Penn Station is definitely the line that goes to Pennsylvania. Who would have thunk it?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
All right, my dad always said that.
Like the whole Transylvania kind of thing.
Yeah, Transylvania, Pennsylvania. I'm always like, oh, was anything spooky there? He's like, no, not really. Just the Wawas. Just Eagles fans. I mean, and I'm like, yeah, that's all. By now I realize like that's
Did we talk about the Super Bowl last time where we were just like, yeah, if you have Brady on your team, you're kind of already
it happened
to win it. Like three players on the fucking Buccaneers are old Patriots. I'm just like. it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, football just got a balanced patch, really.
To summarize the Super Bowl, it happened. Brady won, and yeah. But like you said, it's like they do a patch, and this is like been a thing in basketball for like years with the LeBron and the drafts, and that's how it works. Is that like
the worst team gets the best pick?
Yeah, and it's like they have to balance it out to make it interesting, because if all the good players on one single fucking team,
then it kind of is like you might as well just be the All-American team and then go play in the Olympics.
Yeah,
it's like no.
Unless you're in women's basketball, and then if you're on the Huskies, then you just fucking win. Yeah. But that's because Gino is like fucking.
It's also one of I
really
didn't
good
really
coach.
know this, but like Kobe Bryant and his daughter are very big Huskies fans.
Oh.
And it was like really weird because I didn't really know this. I mean, I don't really pay attention to the sports because I'm not a big sports guy.
No,
overall.
neither am
Like
I.
I'll hang out with people who like watch sports just because they probably have beer or weed there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I'll have that, and then
I like to watch sports because it's just like I'm not like super into the teams or the draft picks or fantasy football or stuff like that, where it's like, oh, the predictions and stuff. I'm like, I'll just if a game's going on, I'll watch it.
Get me a bowl of chips and guac and salsa, and I'll be there.
I'll enjoy the game with you, and it's like this is really fun to watch because I know what's going on. But it's like I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, that draft pick in 2004 was really important to this. It's like, oh, what'd you think about this season? I'm like, I just want to watch the game.
I just want to see who wins and who loses.
Yeah, but not to diss anybody who likes that stuff. I'm just saying, like, that's not me.
Yeah.
I always have to make sure, like, just be like, just to let you know, I'm not meaning this to anybody. I don't have to be super specific, because nowadays it's like if you say anything bad about anybody, you have to preface like, I don't mean it.
Yeah, this is a joke. It's a joke.
But no, I seriously don't.
Yeah.
But what else? Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen.
Oh yeah, episode 19 happened. I hated it.
Why is
I hated it. I hated the fight scene. It's such a jarring thing to watch. It doesn't flow well. It's one of those things where it's like they like made every single individual cut, right? But it's just like, why'd you make that cut? You could have usually done this with a transition. Mm-hmm. It's like, what the fuck is this director doing? Like, who's in charge of like making this decision? Because like it's not flowing well at all. Because you'll jump from seeing like 2 points in time, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened? There's no consistency whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, because the style changes in the mid-fight. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just like, why? Like, I understand like it's a big scene, but like, you're just making whoever did the scene out was not really thinking about consistency. They were just like, oh, this looks cool, that looks cool, and like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, I'm like, that's the fucking shit. But yes, I understand that like visual consistency is important in a series. And sort of, it'd be very jarring if it wasn't explained in the story why it's happening. It could be very jarring. But to me, I guess they couldn't really have done it any other way. Or at least, like, at the time, they figured having it more lively and action-packed scene made more sense, because, like, in this moment, it's like a lot of shit's happening at once. So I guess they figured...
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just taking a shit on the director and the editing. Like, it doesn't make any sense for these cuts to happen. Like, it's more of an editing factor, really, that's just pissing me off right now, just because, like, this is kind of like the whole scenario between, the Queen biopic winning Best Editing when it's the shittiest editing that you've ever seen.
Gotcha. Okay. I see on that.
And I'll show you this later on. I'll show you like what I mean. By,
and it
like,
is a little jarring when like they just have a talk and then all of a sudden it's like back to the fight, and then it kind of goes like crazy bullshit. But I will say, Black Flash looked kind of sick.
The Black Flash is fine. That's fine. I don't like the effects is pretty good within episode 19. I just don't like some of like the animation quality at certain points. Mm-hmm. Just like
it's a little inconsistent.
Yeah, it just kind of dips at certain points where it just like, okay, you're doing these really close-up shots to, like, kind of save budget and money, and I agree with that, but I'm just, like, it just doesn't flow right, and, like, this money that you kind of sort of squandered away.
Mm-hmm. Well, what they did was, I'm noticing in Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen, is that when it comes to general animation stuff, like, you can, like, when you go back and watch it, like, you could tell, like, certain parts or, like, characters will be kind of stiff in some areas, but the overall quality is okay. However, the actual big fight scenes themselves, like, you could tell, like, are the ones where it's like there's a lot of shit going on. It's a lot of movement, a lot of smear, but they're very short, limited, and they don't go on for very long. like just in episode 19 itself, that whole bit with them climbing
I'm just gonna...
the giant tree.
Yeah, the tree demon. I'm just gonna bring this up right now.
Which, by the way,
we're not gonna get DMCA'd by Spotify if we play episode 19 right now.
Which was really cool. Like I was a big fan of that fight, but I mean, it's certainly like you could tell like when they're putting the money and when they'll just like kind of slow it down a bit. But overall, I think what I'm meant to say is that, like, the quality of the show is somewhat consistent when it comes to like it's better than other old shows.
Also, intro starts at like 8 minutes in.
Oh yeah, I was like, holy shit, this is the intro like halfway through the show. I'm like, oh, the ending's gonna come abruptly. I could tell. But my overthought thoughts on the episode was like I liked it a lot. Mainly because like this is a huge part in the story, and we finally like get to see the team up with Toto and Yuji, and I knew that was going to be hype.
Yeah. Okay. Here, we're currently watching the scene right now.
The fucking JoJo pose is great.
We're both like, oh, let's get cooking and kind of shit. I'm like, okay.
And he also like I like the way Toto explains stuff too, where it's like it makes a lot of sense. And like it's not as confusing other the shit where like people are just spouting nonsense.
Yeah,
like, he kind of explains it.
You would have think the big musclehead would be the main person to explore this shit.
Yeah.
See right there, it's like one of those things where it's like, why would you switch sides when you could have just easily done that?
Okay.
Also, that cut right there, right? You see them kind of falling downwards. Like we already know he's falling downwards.
Super fat. Yeah.
We don't need that shot right there.
I see what you mean.
See, this is fine right here, where they're both kind of sort of like sliding down.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's fine.
That's good. I like that's my favorite.
But okay, one of those things right there, right, is that the tree demon only fires 2 shots, right? 1, 2, 1, 2.
They must have done it again off screen.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where you need to kind of show the context for that, where it needs to work. Where like it should like be firing like, kind of rapidly, and that would work.
I think I see what you mean, but I guess in the context when you think about it as a viewer, it's like, oh well, he's still shooting. You have to assume. And then obviously they go for the punch.
That's fine right there.
I feel like there should have been a little bit more impact on that, but whatever.
Yeah,
like some kind of ring of air hitting him, but that's fine. That's like a kind of a nitpick.
Yeah.
And like this is cool. I like the part where one of the cool things I like about this also is like the hype moments kind of get like thrown off the moment like it starts to really get going.
Yeah.
Because like in a real fight, it's like they wouldn't allow that shit. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I did like this part though. This part was cool.
Yeah.
I gotta say that's a unique way. I was like, oh, how are you gonna like? How do you move out in thin air? Which is one of our big things. Like, if you jump into midair, you're a sitting duck.
Exactly. Unless you have unless you could fly or some shit. It's like you can't really move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like that's why Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen is like so cool. Is that like in these fights, like you don't know exactly how it's gonna go. Because usually in this moment, like the heroes would be kicking ass and like they'd be winning, but it's like they can flip on a dime, and it's like you don't know what's gonna happen next. And I forget how this fight ends, but I'm pretty sure.
I think so this happens.
Yeah, and this is pretty cool too. I mean, like I always love when it goes hand to hand, and like all the everyone just knows kick-ass martial arts, which is like awesome, and I'm always into that. Yeah, and then I will say like one of my somewhat pet peeves with the show is that the endings in every episode like don't really feel like an ending, or like they kind of do, but it's like you could have handled.
It's leading to the next episode more likely than not.
Yeah, it's like pause and then wait another week for the rest of the episode. Like you could have ended off there.
Yeah,
but this the part where Toto's like trying to lose my secret technique is like that's fine. Like you can end it there.
That's fine.
And then the ending's pretty cool. I mean, well, the ending's like whatever.
The ending was okay. I don't think it was like this. The second ending's not the greatest as the first.
I think the second opening's better than the first opening, but the first ending is definitely better than the second.
I don't know. I gotta go with my boy Eve there. I can't diss my boy.
No, okay, that's fine.
Because Eve is like one of those things where it's like in Japan he does like every like the popular shit, whereas like Valentine's Day commercial. His music is always there for the past like 3 to 4 years consistently. His music has been inside every single like Valentine's Day commercial for like chocolate and stuff. And like I'll show you the commercials later on, but like they're pretty high budget.
Wow. Okay, you gotta show me. But
yeah.
Also, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, villains. One of the things I was thinking about this morning was like villains wise. I'm always like a much more like I think it's like I don't know what it is, but. the Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen villains to me are probably like some of the best villains that I've seen, like shonen wise, in a long time. Not to say that like stuff like Demon Slayer's villains were bad, but
Or like My Heroes are bad. It's just like
they just serve a different purpose.
Yeah.
Like Demon Slayer's whole thing was like it was Muzan and his army kind of thing, and they kind of like they're like the demon lord.
I need to defeat the Demon King.
They're like they're like the big they're like the big threat of the series. They're kind of like a shadowy like big dark force in the background that you don't know. Like the horror of it is just like finding these things out and seeing this terrifying thing that are the demons, you know,
Yeah.
and like uncovering each part of the demon pillars and being like, holy shit. Meanwhile, though, you have like Jujutsu Kaisen, which is like you get to know the villains more.
Yeah.
And you start to see like their personalities, and like Mahito is a piece of shit, but he's like super curious. He tries to be somewhat playful.
He's an asshole.
He is the biggest dick. I hate him, but I love him at the same time. Jugo's like hot-headed. Nana, I forgot her name. Hanami or something like that. The tree one.
Yeah.
She's like kind of reclusive, but also likes to enjoy a fight. And then Ghetto's like the mastermind kind of thing. He like likes to play everybody.
He's got to be like some sort of humanish kind of thing.
Well, you'll find out later, but it's kind of weird how they explain it.
He's like, oh, the demon parent fell in love, and there was a human, and he's like, they had a child.
I'm half human, half demon,
half Jiu-Jitsu sorcerer.
I'm surprised that situation hasn't ever come about before.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that's such a like generic trope, though. But I'm like, congrats for them for not touching that at all.
Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's like they kind of explain it in an interesting way, and what's happening right now is pretty cool. But yeah, it's just like it's so weird because like before, villains in shonen were just kind of like I'm the next big baddie, because they were literally just like roadblocks. Like you beat the first one, wait a little while, hit the next one.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, and you'd very rarely have them interacting with the main heroes so much, because with Yuji and Mahito, it's like, you know, they're dynamic. They fucking hate each other. And like, you know, last time you'd see something like that was like Ichigo versus Grimjo, or Luffy with Blackbeard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they build up that relationship for the ending, which I'm super down for that kind of stuff. But it's like with Naruto, it's like, and here's the next guy, and Dragon Ball, here's the next guy.
I mean, it was also kind of one of those things where it's like, here's the next guy, and then we also know at the end Sasuke is like probably the main goal.
Yeah.
Like, even though like they fought against the mother of all like fucking chakra and stuff, it was like the end fight was Sasuke, and that was kind of the main goal of Shippuden. And it's like he wanted to bring Sasuke back to the village, and he did.
Yeah. He won.
He won.
And people say like, oh, it was a tie. I'm like, well, you know, technically speaking, Naruto didn't want to kill him.
Exactly. That wasn't the goal in the first place.
Yeah. So it's like, technically speaking, he did win. But yeah, it was cool. And I also, have you read the new Super chapter?
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm just like, Christ, are they gonna drop more fucking lore into Meki and just making their aliens? They're aliens. Just like
they're from a different dimension, dude.
I'm
Don't
just
question
like,
it.
Fucking Christ, just like, why are you making some of this shit more convoluted?
I don't know. I think it's cool to shine a little bit more.
It's
light.
also one of those things too, where just like,
would you rather have more Saiyans?
it's like the less Dragon Balls you have, the more powerful the dragon is, I guess. Just because if you have two balls and just like, I want to be the ultimate warrior, I'm like,
well, no, that's they were saying like more Dragon Balls is better. Like that's why like the
that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, but like the way it's gonna go, I don't think he's gonna get the wish though.
I think what's gonna happen is the dragon's like, okay, well I can't do that,
yeah,
but I can like give you a hint on where to go. I think that's what's gonna happen. Is like he's like, I can't really do that, but I'll show you who's like the strongest, or you know, I'll show you where to go maybe to do it, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they're introducing like a new race, even though they look exactly like a human. Again,
they're all different skin colors in the end. That's all that matters for aliens.
Piccolo is the only one that looks like a genuine alien, and even then, he's just like a dude with an antenna in his head, and that's it.
I mean, Frieza looks like an alien.
Yeah, Frieza's cool, but he's just like a Mewtwo human. I mean, that's kind of it. But
I mean, they're all humanoid in the end.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine like a beast type, I guess.
But what about the Chinese bear in Super what was it?
The Winnie the Pooh?
The Winnie the Pooh bear. Yeah.
That's Dimension 6 or whatever.
Yeah, or the robot was actually kind of cool, like the lava robot,
Megaton or whatever his name was. Yeah.
But yeah, it's fair. But I do like where they're going with this right now, and Granola is interesting because you get to actually see the main villain kind of start and like see his reasoning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with it.
But
But
trying to be like, I'm gonna kill the Saiyans, and like they're not really that bad anymore. And like they're probably just because Frieza sent them to destroy your planet in the first place. So
he'll probably get He'll
it'll probably be like another
manipulated
thing,
and-
like Frieza is like kind of come back, and I'm gonna hate that because I'm just like, can you just move on from this already?
I know it's like it's hard because like Frieza is kind of such an easy thing to be like.
I know,
he
like,
is the one who caused all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that makes sense because you kind of have to address it. Like he was like the biggest piece of shit ever. So obviously there would be repercussions for what he's done, but it's like, I mean, it's like having that happen every single time it can kind of get grating.
Kind of bored.
But it's but then you gotta wait it because there's other stuff they have planned. But it's
I think I'm just gonna binge read it. I don't think it's worth reading it month to month. I think at the end of the year I'll just binge read.
I feel like it's just one of those things where it's just like, oh, it's a new chapter came out, cool, and I feel like it's in a situation like kind of like Boruto is, where it's like people who know about it. Most people know about it are like,
well,
no.
Boruto manga was like so pretty fast paced, so it got to the point fairly fast, and it's just like I think the anime just killed it for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Dragon Ball Super, where it's like the manga's doing way better now, but because of the faults of the anime, no one's willing to go back and like pass the bullshit. And I'm not saying you should. If you have no interest in doing it, I'm not gonna say you definitely have to. But it's like if you still have some faith in this series these series, then maybe take the chance. But
I think Toei's done with Dragon Ball for the next like 4 years.
Yeah, I feel like they should just do like either movies maybe of the arcs right now, or just like if they want to go do a show, then they really just don't do week by week, just seasonal, just space it out. Like have it be like solid animation.
Yeah, solid's definitely one of those things. Because like at the end of the day, I mean, Goku already unlocked Ultra Instinct, but like I see the way they probably would spin it, it's like Mirrors would probably teach him how to control that better and tap into it faster.
You nailed it right on the head. That's what happened.
Because like it's one of those things too, where it's just like Mirrors is such like one of those characters, such a fucking retcon to like what we know about angels and shit. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
What they're doing with Vegeta is really cool though, but I don't want to spoil it too much. But they're doing a lot more focus on Vegeta this time around.
I think people like Vegeta way better than Goku though.
Oh, absolutely, because he's a much more flawed character than Goku is. Goku's just like he's the normal anime protagonist who just has gotten to the point where it's like I can beat everybody.
Give me God power and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you what he's done or like what?
I think we'll save it.
Okay.
I think we'll until like a next, because it came out like 2 days ago. I think next podcast we'll discuss it.
Yeah, and then what else has happened, anime wise?
Well, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else really out right now. That's kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, I mean I'm reading Kaguya again.
Again, really?
Yeah, I've decided to start up from the beginning again because it's been a while since I've read it.
I don't want to go back and read it because like, I could definitely tell like he kind of uses like the Clipsidio models now, where it's like he's gone digital, so like a lot of the posing feels a bit stiff.
Oh yeah, I could tell. Like as I'm reading it, it's like certain characters like and I'm like, ooh, that doesn't look great, but okay.
Yeah.
But Ishigami is still my favorite character because he's the funniest.
Depressing,
He is the funniest fucking guy.
Depression is funny.
Ha 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 ha.
I don't think anything else is really big this season besides Horimiya. I do think Attack on Titan is overblown. I do think people are just shitting on it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I do think people should take a fucking chill pill on Twitter, like, oh, don't hurt. One of those things like, don't fucking harass animators about that. Actually, do your fucking research and see who actually did the production.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of people like, oh, why did you use CG on this? And like, and like one of the animators is like, dude, I didn't even work on this, man. It's like, chill. I'm just like, yeah, definitely. I feel like Western anime fans are a cancer in a way. They're a plague.
They're entitled.
They're entitled. They're a plague to be reckoned with. They don't understand the hard work that goes into any of this stuff.
Shout out to our Western demographic, by the way.
Yeah.
Woo!
I mean, that considers us too, because like we started off at that, but it doesn't mean you can't learn. So I definitely check out like some animators online and like learn from them and see like what they actually do and like the process is.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because like you don't want to be ending up like that cringe guy on TikTok, like, oh, you like anime too, like that kind of like that voice guy. We should get him to do a
be,
voice.
Everyone should
I
just,
think he has a good voice.
Everyone should just be like Hunter x Hunter fans. Just be patient. They've been waiting for like what 2 years,
8
now?
years?
2 years since Togashi decided to put out a new chapter. In my mind, I'm like thinking you couldn't just do like one chapter a year at this point.
I think he's still living. He's like old, but he's living off the money of fucking Yu Yu Hakusho though. So I'm like, I don't really care. This is like a secondary series.
Yeah.
It's like the secondary series is obviously not gonna be like the best moneymaker as the first, because like a lot of people will drop off there at that point.
People love Hunter x Hunter though.
They do. But those are like new people to Hunter x Hunter. They have people. I guarantee people who have watched Hunter x Hunter or read Hunter x Hunter haven't read the original Yu Yu Hakusho though.
Yeah,
because it was kind of inaccessible that back in the day.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading like the first chapter of Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm like, it's all right, but I don't know if it's my thing. It's weird because like I know people fucking
I
love
liked it. Yu Yu Hakusho is really fun.
Is it? I forget like I don't know what happens in the story, but it's
he dies and then he gets his body back and then becomes a spirit detective, and then he gets his spirit gun, goes pew pew at the demons.
He shoots them with a gun. His special a gun.
His invisible gun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking at this point it's like either you could give it to someone else to work on it, or because like at this point it's like it's just mean. I feel like it's just kind of mean if you just like.
I mean, he's old though. He's old though.
Yeah.
He's elderly kind of. He's probably qualified for a COVID vaccine at this point. It's one of those things where it's just like. I blame the Berserk author for not doing any shit just because like he's doing too much work playing Idolmaster. Are you kidding me?
He's still coming out with new chapters though. He just came out with one like what a few weeks ago.
Yeah, because Idolmaster got put on hiatus for the past like 6 months. What do you think he's been so good this year or in 2020? 2020 just because like Idolmaster was put on hiatus.
I do think though that Berserk is starting to kind of just starting it towards the end. I think because this arc right now is kind of building to something. And we're starting to see like a few more resolutions, but I don't know. I mean, like you never know.
I say if Idolmaster's still on hiatus for the next like 2021 or 2021, and then I guarantee it'll probably finish by next year.
I'm still waiting for Vagabond to finish, but that's probably never gonna happen.
I don't know about that one, my friend.
That one's probably not gonna happen because he's like he's got mega burnout, and I understand because this series is like really hard to visually get down.
Yeah,
but you know, it's like if you ever decide to get back into it, obviously, and all these authors have done so much work that they don't need to do anything anymore, and that's fair. But it's like it would be nice if we get a little bit of.
I mean, you could be like
conclusion.
the Psyche K author and pretty much just be like, yeah, I married an idol. I'm just gonna draw Twitter art now and like not do a lot anymore.
Well, he like. Wait, is Takashi still married to the author for Sailor Moon or no?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I mean they're set. So
yeah, they're still making money off royalties guaranteed, but like it's one of those things where it's like as a content creator, it's like that's part of about the life. You want to create one good series and kind of
exactly
write off on that, and like, which is fine.
Davis, you know what we gotta do? Blue Exorcist.
Yeah.
We gotta, or not a Blue Exorcist.
New Age Exorcist.
We
gotta make sure we gotta sell that point and get royalties, and we're set for life.
Body pillows, lamps.
Honestly, that'd be kind of funny
cards.
to have a Captain Lux body pillow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. I do think we're gonna have to do like a visual overhaul though.
Yeah.
For the video, because I have different ideas of what the style should be. I think I'm gonna go more trigger style.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With it, so
that's good. I gotta get better at character design, and one of the things that I gotta get better at it is that, and also just like I'm doing a visual development class, and that's like really helping a lot because he's just kind of simplifying shit. He's like, no, too complicated. Just this, circle,
3 lines,
circle, triangle, square. That's all you need. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah, but I think we're good for today. That's a good podcast right there.
All right.
You want to sign us off, Charlie?
All right, everybody. Have a good one. Be safe. Thanks for everything, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.